There is a moment that happens in almost every life, usually late at night, usually alone. You look at your bank balance, you look at the hours you spent to earn it, and for one uncomfortable second, you do the math on your own worth, dollars divided by hours, and you don't like the number. Most people never say this out loud, but they feel it. The quiet suspicion that no matter how hard they work, they are always one step behind the thing they are chasing. Here is the uncomfortable truth nobody tells you at school, at work, or even at home. Hard work was never the mechanism of wealth. It was the bait. The wealthy did not discover a secret trick. They discovered a different relationship with money entirely. One where money stops being something you chase and starts being something you deploy. A soldier, a worker, a weapon pointed wherever you decide to point it. Machiavelli never wrote about stock portfolios or passive income, but he understood something that applies just as much to money as it does to power, that those who rely only on their own labor are always vulnerable, always exhausted, always replaceable. Those who learn to command forces beyond themselves, soldiers, allies, systems, are the ones who last. Today we uncover 7 laws the wealthy live by, often without ever saying them out loud. Laws that separate the person trading hours for dollars from the person who has quietly built an army of dollars that fight on without them. Stay until the end, because the 7th law is the one that changes everything before it. Law 1. Stop being the engine, become the architect. Picture a man pushing a cart up a hill. He is strong, he is disciplined. Every single day he wakes up, grips the handles and pushes. The cart moves only when he pushes it. The moment he stops, so does the cart. This is what most people call working hard, and it is admirable. But it is also a trap, because the cart depends entirely on the man. There is no cart without the pusher. Machiavelli warned princes against relying on mercenaries and their own arms alone, arguing that a ruler who depends solely on his own strength is fragile the moment that strength runs out. The same logic applies to money. If income requires your constant presence, you have not built wealth. You have built a very well-paid dependency. Now picture a second man. He does not push the cart. He builds a wheel. It takes him longer. It costs him more up front. But once it is built, the cart rolls whether he is there or not. 10 years pass. The first man is still pushing, older now, slower now, his back giving out. The second man is standing at the top of the hill, watching a dozen carts roll past him, each one built once and turning ever since. He didn't work harder. He worked once, on the right thing. The wealthy don't sell their hours. They design machines that don't need them. Comment engine if that's still you right now, or architect if you've already made the shift. Law 2. Ownership beats effort. Every single time. Imagine 2 farmers standing at the edge of the same field. The first farmer does not own the land. He is paid by the day to plant, to water, to harvest. He works from sunrise to sunset. He is by any measure the hardest working man in the valley. The second farmer owns the land beneath his feet. Some seasons he plants less. Some seasons he hires the first farmer to do the planting for him. But here is what nobody tells you standing in that field. No matter how hard the first farmer works, the harvest belongs to the land, and the land belongs to the second man. This is the part of wealth that has nothing to do with effort. Machiavelli built an entire philosophy around the difference between borrowed power and one's own, arguing that power resting on someone else's foundation collapses the instant that foundation shifts. Income tied to a job is borrowed power. It exists because someone else allows it to. Ownership is the foundation you control. John D. Rockefeller understood this before almost anyone else in American history. He didn't just work in the oil business. He owned the pipelines, the refineries, the infrastructure the entire industry depended on. Effort came and went, ownership compounded. 2 men, same field, same sun overhead. 20 years later, one is still waiting to be hired for next season. The other is deciding who gets hired. Effort earns a wage. Ownership earns a future. Comment wage or ownership. Which one is currently signing your paycheck? Law 3. Time is the only currency you cannot print more of. There are 2 invisible currencies in every life: money and time. Most people spend their entire youth trading the one they can always get more of: energy, effort, hours. in exchange for the one they can never get back. Imagine a vault. Every morning it fills with exactly 24 hours. Not 1 hour more, no matter who you are, no matter how much money sits in your bank account. Kings, peasants, billionaires, day laborers, the same 24. The difference is what each person does with the withdrawal. Most people spend nearly all of it exchanging hours directly for money. 1 hour of labor, 1 hour of pay. When the hour is gone, so is the income tied to it. The wealthy do something colder and more strategic. They spend a portion of their hours not earning money directly, but building things that earn money in hours they are not even working. A rental property earns while they sleep. A stake in a company earns while they travel. A system, once built, keeps cashing checks the builder never has to be present for. This is the quiet cruelty of the traditional advice to work harder. Working harder inside a system where you trade time for money simply means selling more of the one thing you cannot replace. Faster. Machiavelli observed that fortune governs perhaps half of what happens to a man, and the other half is left to be shaped by preparation and timing. Time spent building leverage is preparation. Time spent only laboring is fortune left entirely to chance. Money spent can return. Time spent working for someone else never does. Comment renting my time or owning my time below. Law 4. Debt is a weapon in the right hands and a cage in the wrong ones. Two men each borrow the exact same amount of money. The first man uses it to buy things that lose value the moment he owns them. A car that depreciates the second it leaves the lot. Furniture, vacations he can't quite afford. He is now poorer than before he borrowed, except now he owes interest on top of it. The second man uses the same borrowed sum to buy something that produces income, a property that rents out, a business that generates revenue, an asset that grows faster than the interest owed on it. Same debt. Two completely different outcomes, because debt itself is not good or bad. Debt is a weapon, and like any weapon, its danger or its power depends entirely on who is holding it and where it's pointed. Machiavelli understood that the tools of power, armies, alliances, even fear itself, are neutral instruments. Wielded with discipline, they build empires. Wielded carelessly, they destroy the very hand that holds them. Debt is no different. One of the sharpest tools in the wealthy person's kit, and one of the most common traps for everyone else. The uncomfortable truth is that most people are taught to fear debt entirely, while the wealthy are taught to categorize it. Bad debt that drains you, good debt that builds you. 15 years pass. The first man is still making payments on things that no longer exist. The second man's borrowed money has multiplied itself several times over, quietly working long after the loan was repaid. It was never the debt that ruined him, it was what he bought with it. Comment cage or weapon, how do you currently see debt? Law 5, the wealthy get paid while they sleep. Everyone else gets paid while they're awake. Here's a test almost nobody thinks to run on themselves. If you stopped showing up tomorrow, would the money stop too? For most people, the honest answer is yes. The income is tied directly to their physical presence, their labor, their clock in and clock out. Stop showing up, stop getting paid. Picture a single light bulb wired directly to a switch that only one person's hand can flip. The moment that hand lets go, the light goes out. That is what most paychecks look like, a light that only stays on while someone stands there holding the switch. Now picture a solar panel, no hand required. It simply sits in the sun, converting what's already there into energy, whether anyone is watching or not. This is the actual difference between active income and the kind of income the wealthy quietly prioritize. Income that continues whether they are present, asleep, sick, traveling, or simply resting. Royalties, dividends, rental income, a business that runs on systems instead of the founder's constant presence. Sarah Blakely built Spanx from nothing, but the wealth that followed didn't come purely from her personal labor, hour by hour. It came from owning the company outright, so that every sale everywhere, in every store, fed back to her whether she was in the room or not. Two people, same income bracket today. 10 years from now, one of them is still trading hours for dollars at the same rate. The other has quietly built 5 separate lights that don't need a hand on the switch. Working for money ends when you stop. Money working for you never clocks out. Comment still holding the switch or already in the sun. Law 6. Status is expensive. Wealth is quiet. There are 2 men who each just received the same amount of money. The first man immediately upgrades a faster car, a bigger watch, a nicer apartment in a neighborhood built for people to notice him. Within a year, the money is gone, but the appearance of wealth remains, propped up now by debt and by the pressure to keep maintaining it. The second man changes almost nothing about how he lives. He puts the money into something that grows quietly, unglamorously, invisibly. From the outside, nothing about his life looks different. From the inside, his foundation is getting stronger every single day. Machiavelli warned that a ruler who spends lavishly to appear generous eventually must tax his people harder to sustain it, turning admiration into resentment. The same trap catches individuals. Spending to look wealthy quietly taxes your own future to fund the performance. This is the part almost nobody wants to hear. The markers of status, the car, the watch, the size of the apartment, are often paid for by people who have the least actual financial security, because status is bought with cash flow, and wealth is built by what's left after you resist the urge to spend it. 5 years later, the first man still looks successful at a glance and is quietly drowning in payments. The second man looks unremarkable and owns more than anyone around him realizes. Looking rich and being wealthy have almost nothing in common. One is a costume, the other is a fortress. Comment costume or fortress. Which one are you currently building? Law 7. The ultimate shift. From earning money to commanding it. Here is the law underneath all the others, the one that makes the rest of them possible. Most people spend their entire lives asking one question: how do I earn more money? It is not a bad question, but it is an incomplete one because it only ever produces more of the same thing. More hours sold, more energy spent, more of yourself traded away for a number in an account. The wealthy eventually stop asking that question and start asking a different one entirely. How do I make the money I already have go to work? Picture an army. A prince who personally fights every battle himself, sword in hand, exhausts himself eventually, no matter how skilled he is, no matter how brave. But a prince who commands an army sends soldiers to fight in 100 places at once, none of which require his own body to be present. Every dollar you own can be a soldier. Sitting in a checking account earning nothing, it is a soldier standing idle. Invested in an asset that produces income, it is a soldier out fighting and winning, whether you are watching or not. This is the deepest version of the shift this entire video has been circling. It is not really about money at all, it is about command. The person working for money is the soldier. The person whose money works for them has become the one giving the orders. The goal was never to earn more. The goal was always to command more. Comment soldier or commander and be honest with yourself before you type it. The recap: stop being the engine, become the architect. Ownership beats effort every single time. Time is the only currency you cannot print more of. Debt is a weapon in the right hands, a cage in the wrong ones. The wealthy get paid while they sleep. Status is expensive, wealth is quiet. And beneath all of it, the shift from earning money to commanding it. The goal was never to work harder. The goal was never even to earn more. The goal is to become someone money works for, not the other way around, because in the end, everyone is holding an army of soldiers made of dollars and hours. Most people leave them standing idle, or worse, spend their whole lives being the soldier themselves. The question is not whether you have resources. Everyone has some. The question is whether you are commanding them, or still waiting for permission to stop pushing the cart. If this shifted the way you see yourself even a little, then don't stop here, because what you've heard in this video is only the surface. There are deeper layers to psychology, influence, and wealth that simply can't be explored fully in one video. Not because they don't exist, but because most people aren't ready to hear them. That's why most stay average. If you're not one of them, then subscribe. because every video here is designed to sharpen your mindset, increase your value, and separate you from the crowd. No fluff, no noise, just strategy. Most people will watch this and move on. A few will stay and change. Decide which one you are.